All right, quick question. When was the last time you made a real friend? Not a work buddy you grab lunch with because it's convenient, not someone you trade comments with online. I'm talking about somebody you can actually call at 2 a.m. if shit ever hit the fan. Well, if you're struggling to answer that, you're not alone, because making friends as an adult is harder than it's ever been, especially after COVID. When we were all a kid, making friends was easy. Some other kid had a cool toy or basketball hoop in the driveway, and that was enough. If you went to college, you bonded over shared misery and cheap beer. But now you've got a mortgage, a family, a career, and maybe a handful of hours free time per week if you're lucky. And somehow in the middle of all that, you're supposed to find time to, just hang around a bus stop and wait for somebody to talk to you? Most of us have been there, and I'm going to show you exactly how to build real friendships in your 30s and 40s without turning into somebody you're not. Kid friendships happen by accident. Adult friendships, on the other hand, happen on purpose. So let's map out a simple plan to get you started. First up, this is the foundation everything else is built on. You have to show up consistently. Friendship isn't built on grand gestures. It's not about planning the perfect hangout or having the most memorable conversation. It's built by showing up to the same place at the same time, doing the same thing. Every time you show up, you're putting 10 cents in the familiarity bank. The first time, you're a stranger. The second, you're the guy who was here last week. By the 10th time, you're one of the regulars, and that's when things start to shift. Consistency creates familiarity. Familiarity creates comfort, and comfort is what creates friendship. So what does this look like practically? Join something recurring. A gym class, a hobby group, a martial arts or climbing gym, a woodworking wood shop, hell, even a weekly trivia night at the bar. Or you can join our free community of guys that are on the same path and make some friends along the way. Links in the description if you want to check that out. The activity itself almost doesn't matter. What matters is that it's on a regular schedule and you commit to showing up. And this works because you're not just trying to force a connection, you're creating the conditions where one can happen naturally. No pressure of making friends, just shared context building on its own. And over time, the guy who you nod at becomes the guy you chat with. The guy you chat with becomes the guy you grab a beer or coffee with after. The guy you grab a beer or coffee with after becomes somebody you actually call a friend. And it all starts with showing up again and again and again. Okay, so you're showing up consistently. You're in the room. Now what? The next move is to ask questions and actually listen to the answers, because most people are starving for someone who actually gives a shit about what they're saying. Not waiting for their turn to talk, like actually listening. And look, I get it. Small talk feels pointless.
Wayne.
McMurray, how are you now?
Good, and you?
Not so bad.
It feels like a script we're all tired of running, but you don't have to just stay in small talk. Go one level deeper. Instead of how's it going, say, how was your week? Anything interesting happen? Then instead of just, cool man, follow it up with something like, how long has that been going on? Ask follow-ups, remember details, and bring them up later. Hey, did you ever sort out that thing with your car? Did you ever finish that project you were working on? How's the new job treating you? Like that. Because when you remember something somebody told you 3 weeks ago and you actually cared enough to follow up, that person now feels important. People don't forget that feeling. People remember how you made them feel a lot longer than remember what you said. Most people think that being interesting is what makes friends. It's not. Being interested is what makes friends. You don't need the craziest stories or the best jokes. You just need to make the other person feel like you care. If you're showing up consistently and asking real questions, you're already in the top 10% of guys trying to make friends. No joke. Next is something that doesn't get talked about enough, but it's how you build trust. If you see someone struggling with something you know how to help them. Don't make it weird. Don't expect anything back. Just, hey, I've dealt with this before. Want a hand? It could be something like moving a couch, sharing advice of something you've already figured out, or introducing them to somebody who you know that can help with the problem that they're facing currently. People remember who showed up for them. And look, I'm not talking about being a doormat here. I'm not talking about being the guy everyone takes advantage of. I'm saying be the guy who helps when he can, without making the other person feel like they owe you, because generosity without expectation builds connection faster than almost anything else. Think about it. When someone helps you out, no strings attached, how do you feel about that person? Grateful, right? Maybe you even feel like you want to return the favor, not because you have to, but because you want to. You want more of that person in your life. That's what you're building. And the beauty of it is it's self-selecting. The guy who appreciates it and gives back, those are your people. The ones who just take, they filter themselves out. You're not keeping score. The right people will show up and contribute over time. And if they don't, you adjust. No drama, no resentment, just clarity. Now, let's talk about openness and vulnerability, because this is where I see a lot of guys get it wrong. Being open builds connection, yes, but there's a difference between opening up and unloading all your problems on someone who didn't sign up for it. Here's my rule of thumb. Early on, share struggles you've already worked through, not everything you're currently drowning in. Think of vulnerability like opening a door, not tearing down a whole wall. You're letting someone see inside without overwhelming them. Timing matters, depth matters, context matters. At the start, keep it light but real. Something like, man, I was in a real rough spot a few years back. Felt like everything was falling apart. Took some time to sort it out, but I'm in a much better place now. That opens the door. If the other person wants to go deeper, they will. If not, it's still established common ground without making it heavy. As the friendship deepens, you can share more, but in the beginning, keep it brief, keep it light, keep it hopeful. The mistake most guys make is they either share nothing and stay surface level all the time, or they overshare too fast and scare people off. The sweet spot is somewhere in the middle, real but measured. You're building trust, not trauma bonding. All right, let's talk about contribution. You don't need to be the most interesting man alive. You don't need to be the funniest, the smartest, or the most successful, but you do need to bring something to the table. Can you fix things, make people laugh, cook, know weird facts about history, play an instrument, give solid advice on fitness, finance, or parenting? Everyone has something they're good at, so share it without making it a production. Friendship is like a potluck. You don't need to bring the whole meal, but you do need to bring something. Contribution doesn't have to be flashy. It just has to be consistent and genuine. Maybe you're the guy who remembers birthdays. Maybe you're the guy who knows the best hiking trails in the area. Maybe you're the guy who can explain complicated shit in simple terms. Whatever your thing is, lean into it and share it freely, dude. Because contributing value to a group or a relationship without seeking validation, people notice that. They appreciate it and they want more of that around. But don't overthink it. This isn't about performing, it's about being useful in your own way. Desperation stinks. So does trying too hard. If you walk into a room thinking, I need to make these people like me, they're going to smell it from a mile away and it will backfire. Instead, just be yourself and trust that that's enough. I know that sounds like a bumper sticker, but just hear me out. The guys worth keeping around are the ones who like you as is, not the performance version of you. If you're putting on a show to impress somebody, you're not building a real friendship, you're building a house of cards, and eventually it will collapse. So what does that look like practically? Don't name drop, don't one-up stories, don't humble brag, don't pretend to be more knowledgeable or successful or put together than you are. Just show up as the normal, flawed, real version of yourself. If someone doesn't vibe with that, cool, they weren't your people anyways. Again, that's not a loss, that's clarity. Because the goal isn't to be liked by everyone. The goal is to find your people.
We accept that one of us. You will never one of us.
Your people are the ones who see the real you and say, yeah, I'm down. Follow through on small things. If you say you'll send someone that article or YouTube video, send it. If you say you'll show up Thursday, show up Thursday. If you say you'll introduce someone to your buddy who works in their field, make the intro. Reliability is rare and valuable. People appreciate those who actually do what they say they'll do. This matters more than you think because trust is built in small moments, not big ones. It's not about being there for someone's wedding or their kid's birth. Those are givens. It's about being there for the random Tuesday when you said you'd grab coffee. It's the collection of kept promises that builds a reputation. Reputation is what determines whether people invest in you long term. So if you say you're going to do something, can do it, even if it's small, even if it seems insignificant, because it's not insignificant. It's proof that your word means something. Okay, I saved the most important one for last. Stop treating friendship like a performance review. Don't keep a mental scorecard of who texted you last or who invited out who more times. Friendships aren't business transactions. Sometimes you'll carry more weight, sometimes they will. Over time, it balances, or it doesn't, and you just adjust accordingly. But if you're consistently tallying up who's doing what, you're going to drive yourself insane and poison good relationships with resentment. The goal isn't a perfect 50-50 split. It's a general flow where both people contribute. And if you notice you're always the one reaching out, always initiating, always putting on the effort, that's information. Maybe they're going through something. Maybe they're not great at staying in touch. Maybe they're just not that interested. You don't have to make it weird. There doesn't have to be a confrontation. You just ease back and see what happens. If they step up, great. If they don't, that's okay too. You just adjust accordingly and then redirect your energy towards the people who will reciprocate. No drama, no bitterness, just clarity. Most guys in the 30s and 40s are lonely as hell, but pretending that they're not. You're already ahead by committing and admitting that you want connection. Start with one thing from the list. Show up somewhere regularly. Ask one real question per week. Help one person with no expectation of return. Share something real but measured. Bring your own unique contribution. Be yourself without performing. Follow through on small commitments. Get rid of that fucking scorecard. Pick one. Start there, then build. And I'll tell you this right now. It's gonna feel awkward at first. You're gonna second guess yourself and wonder if people actually like you or if they're just being polite. That's normal, and you're not the only one who feels that way. But if you keep showing up, keep being consistent, and keep being yourself, something will shift. That awkwardness fades. The connections will deepen. One day you'll be looking around and realize that you've got people you can actually count on now. The rest will follow. Don't miss next week's video where we continue exploring ways to get yourself on a path your future self will thank you for. If you enjoyed this video and want more like it, leave a comment and let me know what topics you'd like me to cover next. And remember, you can join our free community of guys that are actively improving their lives using the link below in the description. Or simply like and subscribe to keep up to date with new videos as they release. Until next time, keep moving forward.